First of all, the War of 1812, how much of it started because the Americans simply wanted to cross the border and take over the rest of North America?
Very little of it. It did play a role, but an indirect role, in that the Americans were concerned about a British alliance with native peoples living all around the Great Lakes on both sides of the border, and they felt this was meddling with American sovereignty. They thought the only way to stop that British alliance, which was supplying arms and ammunition to Indian peoples, the only way to stop that was to invade and conquer at least Upper Canada.
Well, the Indians and the Brits...
So it was a means to an end.
Sure. The Indians and the Brits got together because the Indians had their, I guess, designs on creating a nation inside American territory. Was that part of their calculation in fighting for the British?
Well, yes. There was a confederation of native peoples living around the Great Lakes that sought to defend their homelands, and they knew the only way they could do that was with British help. And so they very much welcomed an alliance with the British, and they hoped it would turn into a robust alliance in which British troops would help them to create this Indian country between the United States and Canada in what is now the American Midwest.
Another of the causes leading to this war 200 years ago was this thing called impressment, which today I suspect very few people know about, but when you describe what it is an odd thing that the British Navy did to Americans 200 years ago. Explain it if you would.
Well, impressment was a form of conscription by which the British obtained sailors, and they practiced it on their own people. They would go into taverns or go on board ships and just grab these people and tell them, you are now in the Royal Navy. And once you were in the Royal Navy, they didn't let you go until they decided the war was over. So they had a concern that so many British sailors were leaving, migrating to the United States because of the higher pay and the safer conditions in the American merchant marine. And the British felt that those people owed service to their monarch, and therefore the British felt well within their rights to stop American merchant ships, to inspect their crews, and to grab any sailor that they thought was British. Now, of course, they made all sorts of mistakes and grabbed people who had been born in the United States, and they were also grabbing people who felt they had been naturalized as American citizens, but that was a process that the British refused to recognize. They insisted that if you were born a subject, you remained a subject and owed allegiance to your sovereign for the rest of your life.